Okay, for this tutorial, I'm going to explain to you how you can make your own decoupage tissue papers without having to go online and order them. It'll save you a lot of time and a lot of money. You will have to have a laser printer in order to do these. You'll use just regular printer paper, laser printer, regular Mod Podge, a couple of brushes, some kind of a scraping tool or spreading tool to peel with, and like I made this one earlier tonight, you'll need a rock. Start out by painting one white, an image to apply it. So this is just printed with just regular laser printer paper, and that's how I did these earlier tonight. Just print off the paper and create a tissue. So what we'll do is you'll need a little bit of water too. What I did is I took a piece of plastic and I stretched some saran wrap over the top of it. I taped it on the back and on the sides to make sure it's nice and tight and snug to work on. So first of all, you take your image that you're going to use. This will get a little bit louder because I'm going to use a blow dryer here in a little bit. You take your image you're going to use, take your brush, dip it in Mod Podge, spread it on the image, on the ink side, spread it around, cover it nice and evenly. Sometimes you might want to scuff the paper just a tiny bit with a little bit of sandpaper just to break the surface tension. Otherwise, sometimes the Mod Podge will bead up on the paper and not work well. Basically what you're doing is you're sealing the image with the Mod Podge, and in a moment we're going to peel the extra layers of paper off from behind this. For now, I'm going to put this over here underneath a blow dryer and let this dry off, dry really well in the blow dryer. Normally what I would do now is paint a rock, find a rock, paint it white, and you can always paint the back of it white if you want later. Sometimes I don't. This one I did not paint the rock white at all. I just left the dark color. It's a little bit harder to read. Actually, it's a lot harder to read. It would have been much clearer and easier to read had I painted the rock white. I definitely would have done that. This one I painted the rock white, applied the image, and then touch up painted with some dark green paint along the edges. But this way the colors are nice and bright and easy to see. This would have been a lot easier to read had I painted the rock white. Okay, so now that this is dry, take this, flip it image side down, and what we're going to do is we're going to take another brush, get it wet, and wet the back of the paper. Start out by doing half of it. What we're going to do is we're going to peel the extra layer of paper off. Hopefully that Mod Podge is dry enough where it's going to be sealed good enough on the back where we won't tear the paper. See the paper starting to lift off. It'll start to roll. To be real gentle with it. Can't rush it because otherwise you'll tear the paper. And anywhere that you don't have Mod Podge on the other side, it's gonna peel up and tear pretty easily. Just wet it a little bit more. Peel some more. As you can see, the image coming through means you're getting through the paper layers. Peel off that extra layer, and it'll be just like a piece of tissue paper when you're all done with this. Sure beats going online and ordering tissue paper, paying $1.50 a sheet for it, plus shipping, plus waiting for it. And this will do the exact same thing for just a fraction of the cost. Yeah, rubbing the paper away, this is working out really well. Sometimes I'll apply like 2 or 3 coats of Mod Podge onto the image. In this case I just did the one. See, the paper's tearing a little bit on the edge. Could be a little more careful. Sometimes I'll apply a little bit of heat with the blow dryer while I'm doing this. Be less likely to lose the paper. I'm going to turn the blow dryer on, it's going to get noisy. See, the paper's starting to lift already off the saran as it dries. Sorry about the noise. It's working out really well. You know, as it dries, it turns white, and the image will start to dissipate. As the image disappears, you'll know it's dry enough to go to the next step. Okay, so now the next step, you want to get something underneath the edge, real lightly, gently start working it around. Now sometimes I'll go over this with Mod Podge and then let it dry. It helps sometimes if you've got a lot of like thin areas. This one's working out really well. Slip this underneath there. Real gently, just start working it. Takes a little bit of practice. I've damaged quite a few of these learning how to do it by taking too much paper or not enough paper, and that's what it looks like. Here's your image, and it's like on a thin, very, very thin piece of paper. Now you can look, if you look really close right here, I should have probably peeled it a little bit more. It's a little bit thicker, but wherever you can, you kind of want to get it to where you can still see a pretty good portion of the image from the back. Then what you do is you line things up to how you want them on your rock or on your board or whatever. It's gonna go like this here, I think. That's how I'm gonna do it. So what I do next is I take my paintbrush and my Mod Podge. I'm gonna brush some on here. Now you can do a couple different ways. You can brush it on here like this, real heavy. That way the gaps or deep, crevices will get filled in with the Mod Podge as it cures and sets up overnight. I mean, if you did an image transfer onto here, you'd never get it to look like it's going to look now. What I'll do is I'll put a little bit on the back of the image carefully. Cover it nice and even. And how we lay it on there, how we want it. And you can do the saran wrap method where you take a piece of saran over the top of the image. I don't know if I've got any laying around here or not. Put the saran right on it. Wrap it kind of like so, and then just push it down. That way it doesn't tear your paper or your tissue. Push it on there like that, and then it'll lift right off when you're done. It's called the saran wrap method, like so. Lift it off, and that's covered. It's as easy as that. It's in all those little crevices that we talked about, and you can come back tomorrow after this sets up really good. You can either hit these edges with a small wire brush to make it a nice clean edge, or you can come back. What I usually do is I come back and I paint the rest of the rock white. That way it blends in with everything on the front, and then put a nice coat of Mod Podge or seal it with some kind of a clear coat spray, because you never know if it's going to wind up sitting outside on somebody's porch or in their rock garden or whatever. So that's my homemade transfer method of creating tissue paper out of regular copy paper with a laser printer. If you like this video, please subscribe to my other ones. Thanks.